The results are in. We finally have a government that treats the Dutch population exactly like a LinkedIn premium subscription. You did not ask for the upgrade, it's remarkably expensive, and the only way to cancel it is to die. Which, thanks to the new healthcare reforms, is now the only truly tax-free hobby left in the Netherlands. D66, VVD and the CDA have emerged from a room with a minority coalition deal. It is a document of profound vision. It's a vision where we are simultaneously the most defended, most educated and the most sober people in Europe. Provided we don't plan on retiring, breathing in Lelystad or enjoying a Fanta. Let's talk about the freedom contribution. The narrative is responsibility. The VVD calls it securing our future, D66 calls it investing in progress, and the CDA calls it, well, they are just happy to be invited. It's a 5.1 billion euro annual subscription fee to live in a country that is legally obligated to spend 3.5% of its GDP on weapons. We aren't just a trading nation anymore. We are a hedge fund with an army. VVD, D66 and CDA have decided that freedom isn't a right. It's a surcharge. If you're a citizen, you are in for 3.4 billion. If you're a corporation, you pay 1.7 billion. Because in this coalition eyes, a person is worth exactly twice as much as a multinational. When it comes to paying for a tank, we will probably just rent it to Germany anyway. And who's going to drive those tanks? You. Or at least a selective you. The deal mentions selective conscription if recruitment falls short for their new 122,000 strong scalable force. It's a brilliant Darwinian filter. If you're smart enough to avoid a career in the infantry, the government will select you to ensure you don't get too comfortable with that peace and quiet thing. We are moving from a participation society to a mandatory trench-digging society. And at least the billions being sent to Ukraine are described as shifting future defense funds forward, which is a polite way of saying, we've taken out a mortgage on a house we will never live in and put your children down as a guarantors. To prepare our youth for this glorious future, we are investing 1.5 billion euros in education while simultaneously scrapping oversight for non-Dutch programs. Finally, we can stop pretending we care if the thousands of international students paying 15,000 euros a year are actually learning anything. As long as the check clears and they don't take up a parking spot for a tank, the market will decide if their degree is worth the paper it's printed on. Now let's look at how the government plans to keep you fit for service. They are raising the age for tobacco to 21 and criminalizing the possession of a flavored vape. Think about the ethical clarity here. At 18, the state might select you to go to a conflict zone and operate heavy machinery that deletes human lives. But if you try to celebrate your return with a mango ice vape, straight to jail. You are old enough to die for the GDP, but you aren't old enough to choose your own lung cancer. That's the pragmatism Dutch is famous for. While they are policing your lungs, they are also policing your thumbs. The coalition wants an enforceable European minimum age of 15 for social media. Because nothing says digital innovation like a government trying to check the ID of every teenager trying to watch a dance challenge. They are also coming for deepfakes and online financial advice. It's a bold move for a group of politicians who have spent the last decade effectively deepfaking a functioning housing market. If the law passes, sharing manipulated criminal content becomes a crime. So if you're planning on satirizing a minister by putting their face on a clown, check with your lawyer first. Unless you're a journalist, of course. And then we have Lelystad Airport. VVD wanted to open for the economy. D66 wanted to close for the birds. So they did the most Dutch thing possible. They agreed to open it halfway. 10,000 flights initially. It's an airport for people who only want to go to half of a destination. It's the political equivalent of building a bridge that stops in the middle of the river because the environmental requirements haven't been met for the other side yet. 10,000 takeoffs to nowhere, founded by the very people who will be woken up by the engines. And don't you dare to get sick. The Eigenrisico, the healthcare deductible, isn't being lowered, it's being indexed. Not to inflation, but to your optimism about earning more. It's a perfect closed loop of misery. If you work harder and earn more, the cost of being ill rises to meet you. It's a success rate for your immune system. By 2027, they will squeeze an extra billion out of us just for the privilege of sitting in a waiting room for 6 hours. To offset this, they are putting 50 million into sport. That's roughly about €3 per person. So instead of a heart transplant, the government suggests you to go for a very long, very brisk walk to the Belgium border. If you're feeling stressed by all this, don't reach for a Coke. The sugar tax in 2030 is designed to raise 850 million euros from producers, which, in a shocking twist that no one could have predicted, will be passed directly to you. We are being taxed for the freedom to be defended, taxed for the success of our wages, and now taxed for the sin of a beverage. It's not a budget, it's a moral audit of your pantry. And finally, we have the AOW, the state pension. From 2033, the retirement age rises by a full year for every year of life expectancy. The message is clear. The coalition has looked at the data and concluded that the biggest threat to the Dutch economy is a 68-year-old sitting in the sun. Under this math, the only way to actually retire is to hope for a massive drop in medical technology. If we stop curing diseases, we might get to stop working. Until then, you will be a 74-year-old standing on a tarmac at Lelystad Airport, watching a legally compliant flight take off, and wondering why the sugar tax on your lemonade costs more than your hourly wage. This isn't a coalition deal. It's a ransom note. D66 got their education with no rules. VVD got their defense with your money. And CDA got their values by banning flavors. And you got the bill. So enjoy your freedom. Just make sure you don't enjoy it with sugar, or with vape, or with a pension, or with a doctor.